of Dinei Yeshivat Sukkah. So some laws of living in the Sukkah. So first of all, we have to understand it's written, Ketib Sukkot Teshuvu Shvat Yamim. It's written in the Torah that you have an obligation to live in the Sukkah for 7 days. Perush Taduru Basukot. So what does it mean Teshuvu, like you will sit there? It means you will live there. Amrat Torah, the Torah said, Shadu Basukkah Shivat Yamim, that you have to make it as if it's your house for 7 days. So the same way you live in your house, you have to live in the Sukkah. And you have to make your main things in the Sukkah. So you have to go and bring in all your nice utensils, all your nice things that you have outside of the house, like your candlestick, things like that. You bring it inside the Sukkah. And you have to go and eat and drink and learn, and you have to spend all your time and sleep in the Sukkah. And even if you're going to go and speak with your friends, you have to speak in the Sukkah. It's very interesting, mitzvah the Sukkah, and that's why it's very important. I don't know if you're gonna have if you have place to build a Sukkah, but at least so it's good to spend as much time as you can by your parents, because every second that you're in the Sukkah, you're accomplishing a mitzvah deoraita. Everything now you're talking with your friend in the Sukkah, doing a mitzvah from the Torah. You're sleeping in the Sukkah, you're doing a mitzvah from the Torah. You're eating, imagine everything that you do now is going to be a mitzvah. So now because it says that the Sukkah has to be like your house. Now in the Gemara, it brings us a debate. It's not a debate, there's a machloket between the Tanaim, and they say, why do we live inside the Sukkah? Right? Is it because when we came out of Egypt that Hashem was protecting us with the Ananei Kavod? We know that we had clouds of glory, clouds of Hashem. We had one cloud in the front, one cloud on each side, one cloud up, one cloud down, and this was protecting us. Whatever it was good for the climate. Everything was taken care of for us. So this is one opinion in the Gemara, and the other opinion brings that really the reason why we do Sukkot is that really when we came out of Egypt, we really made Sukkot. We built Sukkot to live in for 40 years, and that's where we lived, and we had little temporary dwellings. But even if you have snakes and you're in the desert and it's hot, whatever it is, but in the desert, Hashem was taking care of us. And that goes to a very important point that we have to make tonight, is that why is it that Hashem, when He took us out, He didn't just bring us straight to Israel, right? Even after, because we did the sin, so it was a punishment that we have to be there 40 years. But it could have been, because we know that there was a few months already before. Even before the Chet HaMeraglim, it was already like a year and a half later, the Chet HaMeraglim, the sin of the spies. So the sin of the spies. So what happened was, there was two big sins that Am Yisrael that we did, unfortunately. One sin was Chet HaEgel. So the Chet HaEgel was the golden calf, and this was around 3-4 months after we came out of Egypt. That Moshe went up to Sinai. He went on Shavuot from the day of Pesach, you count 50 days, it's Shavuot. On the day of Shavuot, we received the Torah orally from Hashem. So He told us the first 2 commandments. It says that we all died. It was Chet HaMetim, because it was too much for us to handle. We told Moshe, look, we can't hear from the voice of Hashem, it's too much for us. And Moshe told us the 8 other commandments from the 10 commandments. And then Moshe went up to Shamayim to get the written Torah. So what happened during those 40 days, they made a calculation and they saw that Moshe wasn't coming down. But they made an error around 6 hours, and they didn't wait, and they built that golden calf. They said, this is going to be our there's a big debate that really the Jews didn't really worship it, but it said this will be our new leader. But we saw that even if you make like a intermédiaire, this is also a problem. So it was very bad. Hashem wanted to wipe us out, Chaz v'Shalom, and Moshe prayed for us, and Hashem forgave us. Now a year later, we were going to enter the land of Eretz Israel, and you had the same problem. What was the problem? Is that we said, look, we don't want to go in. We want to be like the other nations. We have to send spies. We have to investigate. Everything has to be Mesuda. Mm-hmm. So we sent in spies, and there were 12 spies. 10 spies came back, and they said an evil report about the land. They said the truth of what they saw, but they said it if you don't calculate Hashem in the equation. Understand? So if now, let's say I tell you, I don't know, something crazy. oh, if there's David, he'll never be able to win against Goliath. It's impossible. David, he was like 5 feet tall. Goliath is like 3 meters tall. He was so big, and he's the strongest from the Philistine. Now David, he was it says that David was one head smaller than all of Am Yisrael. So he was so short. Now you have this little boy against a warrior. So of course, if now you put 1+1, it doesn't work. But when there's Hashem in there, of course, you can have people don't understand how it works, but they see, oh look, there's 5 little rocks. He threw a rock and he killed him. So we see that when there's Hashem, so there's nothing that we can't accomplish. So the 10 spies came and they said an evil report about the land. They said, oh look, there's giants there, and the land, it buries its dead. Like so many people dying. The reason why Hashem did that was because he wanted it to, Rashi says he wanted it to be a distraction. Since there was a lot of people dying, or it was like a day of commemorating all the dead people. There was like a whole thing. So everyone will be distracted, and the spies can go and check out the land. So there were 2 of them that brought a good report. Was Yehoshua bin Nun and Caleb ben Yefune. So those 2, when they came, they said the land is great. Hashem is with us. We have nothing to fear, and they were very happy. So after what happened was we cried, and in life we have to learn, and this is also a lesson for us, that we can't cry for nothing. We have to appreciate what Hashem gave us, and even though there's sometimes difficulties, we have to appreciate, and we have to always try to see the best thing in it. And if it's really a punishment and we see it's very tough, we say Gamzo Tova, we say Kaparat Avonot, this is a reparation for my sins. And because it says that on Tisha B'Av, which was 40 days after they were touring the land, they came back and brought the evil report. On Tisha B'Av, they cried. And it says in Gemara Maschet Ta'anit, you cried for nothing. I'll give you a reason to cry for the generations. And that's why it says that the 2 Bet HaMikdash were destroyed on that day. And what happened on that day? So that Hashem said, a day for a year. So each day that you were touring the land, and then you came and then you cried because you thought, what, I won't be able to help you get in the land. I'm Hashem. So Hashem said, all this generation has to die in the desert, and for 40 years they have to stay roaming in the desert. So now this was an introduction. Now to go back to the point, what's the point? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this that why is it that we had to wait let's say a year and a half at least before there was the punishment, before we entered the land? It's not you take a few camels. It takes 3 days max, to walk from Egypt to Israel. So the answer is that really the 40 years and the year and a half and also the 40 years was really to make Am Yisrael who Am Yisrael is, to make us as a nation. Who are we? We are the people of Hashem. We are people that learn Torah, we do mitzvot, we are servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does this mean? This means that when we're servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so Hashem takes care of everything for us, because we already have a job. We don't have time now to do something else when we have a full-time job of being servants of Hashem. And therefore, what happened was that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was taking care of us. We're in the desert. There's no water. There's no bread. There's no nothing. So what do they have? They have man from the Shamayim. Every day there was food coming from heaven. There was the well of Miriam. Every day they had water. It was great. And they had Sukkot. They were sleeping in little Sukkot. But there was no scorpions. There was no snakes. They were protected. So what do we learn from there? We learn a very important lesson, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one in charge. And therefore, if he's in charge, it doesn't matter. Even if we have 100 locks on our doors, if Chaz Shalom, like it says every bullet has an address. Chaz Shalom. It says that, a person, what is this destined for the person? Unless he does teshuvah and mitzvot, things cannot change. And we actually have many proofs from the Torah. Every day now we learn in the Shema Yisrael, right? And if you're going to listen to me, if you listen to me, you will get this and this, and you'll be good in the land, and you'll have rain and everything good. Be careful, because if you don't listen to me, and you do avodah zarah, and you do bad things, and you go against Hashem, it says the land will reject you. The land of Israel will reject you. It cannot keep you there. The same way that it rejected the other nations, it will also reject you. So we see that there's a direct correlation between our Torah and mitzvot with what's happening in our lives. Meaning that a person keeps Torah and mitzvot, then he's going to have good things in his life. He's going to have olam haba. He's going to have many good things. If he does the opposite, then it'll be the opposite. So there's something that goes beyond the logic. It says that Islam will not based on mazal. There's no like luck. Oh, you're unlucky. No, there's no such thing. So the general rule is that, I think the Rambam writes, is that whenever we do good things, HaKadosh Baruch Hu rewards us. Sometimes it's going to be in this world, but most of the time is through our neshama. It's in the next world, and sometimes it's going to. And Chas if it's avera, then it's going to be the opposite. Now it's very interesting because it says that when we were in the desert, so Hashem was taking care of all our needs. And that's one of the reasons why people wanted to stay. Because they said, once if we enter another land, every day we're learning. It was a kollel. Imagine a kollel, 3 million people learning all day, everything's taken care of. So they were so comfortable that they didn't want to go in. But the problem is that it's not enough just to be, in a kollel hidden somewhere and locked all day. But it's also, you have to live life also. What does it mean? You have to get married, you have to have kids, you have to take care of them. You have a whole life that you have to live. And with all this, that also means to be Jewish. For example, you have mitzvah Shivat Aveda. You walk in the street, you see an object. Now you had a whole plan for all your day. You had, you wanted to go on vacation. You wanted to go to the restaurant. Now you just saw an object on the floor. You see a diamond ring. So you have to go. You have to take it. You have to see if there's a sign. You have to bring it to a jeweler to see what's the thing. If there's a code, you have to put posters everywhere. You have to go on the news flash. This is mitzvah d'oraita from the Torah. And not only that, if you don't do that, but also we're going to see, because I'm just saying in general, but there's if it happens, you can ask the Rav, but you have to go out of your way. And so if you don't do that, you just leave it there. It's Isur Deoraita from the Torah. You did an Isur. That Lo Titalam, you're not allowed to make as if you didn't see it. And if you take it and you steal it, you're like, or you just keep it because you said, I don't have time to waste my time. Then this is exactly so. So not only did so then you did 2 isur. You did isur of stealing and lotit alam, that you neglected it and you did not return it to its owner. So we see that Hashem wants us to live in this world, but whatever we do, that we apply it with the rules of the Torah. So when we do business, how we treat people, how we have to have weights, like we were learning with Yosef. Remember we said that if a person has just weights in his house that are not accurate. Just owning them is already isur from the Torah. Owning them, so he doesn't get a physical punishment because there's no real action that he did, because he didn't sell anything. Well, even in that case, he wouldn't get a punishment, but a physical punishment. But anyways, just to say that just the fact that he has them, it's already isur from the Torah. So now it goes back to our idea of Sukkot. That it says that we have to live in the sukkah, we have to sleep in the sukkah, and we make a temporary dwelling as a permanent dwelling, right? And what is it that we need to have the schach like that? Why can't we just make a real kaban? You make it nice. Now you have the rain that can come in. You have this, because the idea is that to show you that don't be too comfortable. Don't be like he was saying, Ariel. Don't get too comfortable. And also, this is also a mashal for our lives, that we can't be too comfortable here. We have a lot of enjoyments. We have this nice water bottle. We have Jojo's pizza. Everything is good. Baruch Hashem. We have family, friends. So this is all very good. But at the same time, we have to understand why are we here? Are we here just to do a picnic, or are we here for a real reason? Is there going to be a judgment? Is there going to be all those things that are going to come? And also, now forget the judgment. Now let's go. What do I want to accomplish? Like I was saying with Rabbi Aaron today, is that it says that the real Geinam for someone is that when they pass away, they'll see what they could have been and what they are. So they see, if let's say the person would have gone and he would have done tshuva at this time, or he would have read this book at this time, or he would have went to the shiur at this time, or he would have had a good idea, he would do tshuva, be married, would have kids, grandkids, and all his life would be different, and he would have a business. And now, Chas v'shalom, the guy didn't listen. He had many warnings, many opportunities Hashem sent him. Because Hashem, what is he looking from us? He's not looking, Chas v'shalom, to punish us. Hashem loves us. It says, Ahavat olam ahavtanu. Clear verses from the Torah. Hashem loves us. We can't explain. Like we love our kids with Hashem. We're going to have good news. But you're going to see when you have kids with Hashem, you can't have anything they need. They eat, you don't eat. Anything they need, you'll do. You'll run for them. You want them to be happy, be good. So this is the same thing with Hashem. And Hashem, He doesn't have to tell us. We see it. For example, we have this water bottle. We have water. We have air, we have clean air, we have clothes, all those things. We didn't have to have that. It's Hashem who made the sheep. Why did He make a sheep? It could have made. Why didn't He even give us a brain to have all those different things? Our hands. The Talmud shows Hashem that gives us, but it says Olam Chesed. But Hashem makes this world for Chesed. Hashem wants us to enjoy and be happy. But at the same time, when you enjoy and be happy, like we said for brachot, to say thank you. You have to be grateful, and you also have to understand, like if a person now he's a Jew, he has a Jewish neshama. Hashem gave him the Torah. The Torah is nothing compares to the Torah. I'm just talking on the most basic at the surface. Just the fact that we have a book that tells us what's good, what's not good, how to behave, how to handle our lives, the affairs, and also the more you learn, the more you see how genius it is. There's so many rules that are so medakdek, so careful. For example, there's an issue from the Torah. Someone asks you, you owe money to your employee. You're not allowed to. You have to pay him that same day. If he's Sachir Yom, let's say he works for you day by day. So now let's say if he works with you full time, so you have an arrangement of how you pay him. But let's say now he works for you Sachir Yom day by day. You're not allowed to. The sun can't go down before you pay him. And if you do, it's a big issue from the Torah. And why is it important? Because when the government or someone's going to tell you, as long as you don't get caught, Shalom Israel. And you see the people. Do you see anyone taking the Code Civil du Québec? Or let's see, what am I going to do? What am I going to keep? Why? Because there's no consequence. I do what I want. I what you prefer. Or if they're scared for the police, they won't do the crimes. But anything else that surrounds the crime, they'll do it. It's kasher. But that is the opposite. Chaz Shalom is whatever the Torah tells us. It tells us now be very careful, not to let him go hungry, not to let him go, so you have to go and you have to give him. So all this goes back to teach us what? To teach us that this world is temporary. Our obligation is to do Torah, mitzvot, chesed, fixing the midot. Very important. You have to know this, but I don't want you to take it the wrong way, because some people, they like to use this argument and just do whatever they want after. But what I want to tell you here is that for example, you can have people that are going to keep Torah mitzvot, the Reshaim, big Reshaim. You have to know that. You can have someone who's going to keep Torah mitzvot, but his character, catastrophe. Just happens he was raised religious, but really horrible midot. The way he talks, he behaves, the way he deals with people, he steals, he lies. But he's going to pray 3 times a day. But at the same time, you're going to see also people that are secular, worse, horrible people also. So this is not how you base. So you have to know based on 2 things. First of all, a person has to keep Torah mitzvot because Hashem commanded it. So a person cannot be in the geder of being a good person if he spits at his father every day, like we said. So this is number 1. And number 2, the second thing is what? Is that also how he treats other people. Like we said for Yom Kippur, and we're going to see it in the Rambam Bezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgives for the sins between him, whatever we did against Hashem, Chaz V'Shalom. We broke Shabbat, we didn't eat kasher, we did all those things, but this is against who? It's against Hashem. We didn't hurt anybody. But if we did a crime against someone, Hashem can't forgive you. Hashem already gave this person a power, and if the person does not want to forgive you, you're in big trouble. You have to make sure to go and get mechila from him. So we see that the Torah not only cares about your relationship with Hashem, but also the relationship you have with the people around you. Another example is, for example, Kibud Avayim. It says horrible things. It says someone who curses his parents, someone who hits their parents. Terrible things. It says how you have to treat your parents, how you have to respect them, you can't contradict the words, how you have to just honor them, buy them gifts. There's so many beautiful things that the Torah teaches you. And so I was just saying, why I was saying this is that Baruch Hashem, that we have the Torah. Now we have a gem, we have a gold mine here. It tells us how to treat your kids. Even the kids, there's alachot. It says, "Ena kapdan melamed." Right? If you're kapdan, you cannot be melamed. You cannot teach people. You makpid. He doesn't understand. You give him a whack. You scream at him. Why don't you understand? He says, you can't be a teacher. Halacha. Ve'ena baishan lomed. And the person who is shy, you cannot learn. You cannot be a learner. Why? Because so you have to teach him not to be shy. Because if a person is shy, he'll never ask questions to the Rebbe. Do you understand? Yeah. And then you go on, and then you skip the whole section. Now, sometimes you skip the basics, I know some people, unfortunately, went to school. Yeah. They don't. I left bed. They don't know how to read. They went 12 years in elementary and high school. They don't know how to read Hebrew. The 12 years of Hebrew they had every year. So anyway, so just to say that even the Torah, even the Torah with those ideas are going to teach you. Also, it says, for example, like we're learning that a person is not allowed to be mad. But it says now, let's say you're a teacher, and now you see your son, he did something bad. So like we said, we can pretend to be mad, but you can't be mad. Imagine this: you can pretend. So really, in your head, you're not mad. You're in full control. Because we have to understand that the avodah of a Jew in this world is a person has to control his yitzhara and he has to be in control of his emotions. To act in each situation, you cannot. Let's say he gets mad. It's like, for example, Rabbi Miller was bringing this that time. Says, some people they think it's good to always answer back. You'll be mad. Show them. So look, you have a job. You I don't know. You make 80,000 a year. Okay, you're good. You pay all your things, and your boss is being very bad on you. Now the Torah tells you, be careful. Don't get mad. Be careful. Now you don't care about what the Torah says, or even if you care, sometimes it's not that you don't care. You care, but you have your own. You didn't work on yourself. So now your boss, once he comes to you, he tells you, "Hey, can you please stay for another 2 hours? Leave 10 minutes before for Chag." No, but I have to No, you leave 10 minutes before. Now, of course, you can say it nicely, but then you say, you know what? I had enough of you. You're a horrible boss. Your company is horrible. I hope you go bankrupt. I curse you. Now you say that. Congratulations, you just won. You just got fired. Mazal tov. So now what did he bring you? He brought you nothing. So I have to know one more thing, very interesting. So a lot of the things that come to our lives is not because Hashem is punishing us. It's things that we bring on ourselves. Since we do not follow the Torah, the 101s of the Torah, then we brought things on ourselves. Now to go back to the Sukkah, it says for 7 days you have to go sit in the Sukkah because it has to make an impression on you. And it cannot be, and why is it that we don't have the roof that's a regular roof? Because if you had a regular roof, then it would be like a house. It would be the same thing, in Kaban. That's why the Chachamim, they say, why don't we make Sukkot after Pesach? Right? Mm-hmm. Because we came out of Egypt, then we went in the Sukkah. So it doesn't make sense that we don't make Sukkot after Pesach. That we make Sukkot now. The Chachamim, they say, we do Sukkot now. What does the Torah ask you to do it now? So that it's freezing outside and it's raining, but you're doing it outside. So then the Goyim, when they look at you, they're crazy. Mm-hmm. And then when you look at yourself, you're like, why are we doing this like that? Yeah, because we have to make it, you have to make it a point, that you have to make it as a remembrance that Hashem took us out of Egypt. Now, one more thing about this is that the whole inyan of Sukkot, Pesach, even Shavuot, a lot of the things, everything always goes back to one topic. It's Yat Mitzrayim. You have to understand this is fundamental. If you know someone that does not believe in Yat Mitzrayim, it's very important to make everything to show him proofs and convince him that, because this is the ikar of being Jewish. The first commandment is Anochi Hashem Elohecha, I'm the Lord your God. Asher hotziticha me'eretz Mitzrayim, who took you out of Egypt. What is our relationship with Hashem? Our relationship is that we were slaves. We were treated horribly. We were beaten up. Our kids were taken and thrown in the Nile. We had a horrible life there, worse than Auschwitz. And we had no army, no IDF, no Trump, no Netanyahu, nobody. And who came to save us? And even now, the problem is that we don't see it. But who's coming to save us all the time? It's just Hashem. And Hashem came and He saved us. And He took us out of the most powerful nation in Egypt, and He did all those miracles for us. So this is why it's so important, because if you skip this step, then it removes the relationship you have with Hashem. Because this step already shows all the love that Hashem had for us, that He took us out of a nation. Now, why was it good that we were slaves? So Rabbi Victor brings many reasons that it was very good that we were slaves. Because slaves, the first thing is that you teach yourself to be humble. Teach yourself to put your head down. Mm-hmm. It teaches yourself to also respect other people. When you have converts, like we said, they convert, you have to respect them. You have to love them. You have to take care of them. You have poor people, orphans, widows, like we said in the Rambam. Anyone who now is going to have a big meal now for the holidays. So it's very important if you can give us whatever you can give. If you give $100, whatever you can give for a donation for organizations that give food, or they invite people for Sukkot for the holidays, very important. Or if you invite yourself in your house. Why? Because it says if you're going home and you're enjoying and you have your kids and your wife, you bought the best meat and the best everything, but you have your brother outside, in big trouble. This is not called Simchat Yom Tov, it's called Simchat Kereso, right? Like we said. So why is Simchat Kereso? Is that really the Torah cares about doing the mitzvot, following HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but in the mitzvot is also taking care of our brothers. And now one more thing also on this is that it says that all the Jewish people, when we entered the land of Eretz Yisrael, we became responsible for one another. And therefore, when you do a mitzvah, when I do a mitzvah, when everyone does a mitzvah, we have to believe this. It's not only, I say Tehillim, what, you think it's really going to help, obviously the lefties. I say Tehillim, what, you think it's really going to help something in Israel? No, go and take a gun. No, the Tehillim really is going to help. Right? You can also take a gun, okay. But really the Tehillim, you have to know, because what do we do? 3,000 years. Now we have an army for 70 years. So before 70 years, we're still here. 3,000 years, no army, no nothing. We're in all the countries, we're still here. We are here. So it's a mitzvah to say that the Jewish people are going to be here no matter what. It's not because we have an army, we have a prime minister, we have a president. No, it's only with Hashem. Hashem sees how we are. Hashem loves us. He takes care of us. Even when we do a lot of bad, always takes care of us, because it says that at the end, we're always going to be here. At the end, the Mashiach will come. At the end, we'll all do teshuvah. The thing is that instead of taking it says that there's a saying in the army, they say, what doesn't come by the head comes by the legs. No, you know this one, no? Ça vient pas par la tête, ça vient par les pieds. Ça veut dire quoi? If you don't listen to your general, then you're gonna have to go run the miles and miles and miles, because you up at 6 a.m., run till there with the back, do 100 push-ups back and forth. So this is the same thing for Sukkot. So now for Sukkot, what we have to understand, the halachot is we have to make sure to eat as much as we can in the sukkah. It's asur, and this also, all this I said for the sukkah is for the men. The women, they're exempt from being in the sukkah. Why? Because the woman, it's very important, and to know the women are exempt from all the positive mitzvot that are bound with time. Kol mitzvot she'azman grama. So since sukkah is dependent on the time, the specific time where we do sukkot, so the woman is going to be exempt. But she will only have to eat with the husband. She's the bread inside the sukkah, and that's it. So you have a meal there at the time, but there's no obligation for the woman to be in the sukkah. And it's very important, because a lot of the times, for example, let's say even for praying, when you're going to have kids, Zat Hashem, so when you're going to pray, the woman, it says she has to pray one time a day. So you pick either mincha, you do arvit, you do shachit, one time a day. You don't have to do anything else. You do 3 minutes. You do the Shmona Esrei, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. And even if you can't do that, you pray with your own words. Hashem, thank you for my day. Hashem, please help me with this. Thank you, Hashem. That's your prayer. Why? Because the woman, when you have to take care of your kids, you have to run around. It's not all, you can't go to the minyan every day, and there's no obligation. There's not even a mitzvah for a woman to go into the minyan. So you have to know that for the man, it's very important to eat in the sukkah. If you have to eat outside the sukkah, you can only eat what's arai, meaning that you can eat like fruits, you can eat meat. You cannot have any bread or mezonot outside of the sukkah. So no pizza.
I mean, unless you don't have no choice.
Downstairs.
Maybe, but let's say that it's like raining and tense. So we know
no,
that
exactly.
If it's raining,
so if it's raining, so exactly. So if there's also another rule is that if it's mista'er, then you're also going to be
if you're
exempt.
like miserable in the sukkah because of like the weather and stuff like that, and there's
but question, like there was, I don't remember if it was last year or not. I could be totally wrong. Is it okay to put? Because I thought like that you have to see the star, so that's why you have to like have it But I don't remember if it was last year if there was in the sukkah or not. But like a plastic cover, like under the schach or like above the schach.
Plastic
cover like on the top, so that's like see through, but like rain won't go in.
So you should not have. What's the purpose to do that?
So like no rain comes in.
Yeah, but you're supposed to, when you do the mitzvah, you're supposed to remove it.
Oh.
So when you sit down and you eat, you remove it. But when you let's say after
if you're not inside, then
let's say after you ate, you know it's gonna rain. You can cover it. It says you have to leave at least 1 tefach, because if you completely cover it, you have another problem of oil. Oil is that you make a
tent.
Make a tent.
Make
exactly.
a shelter.
So this you're not allowed.
Okay.
But if you leave a tefach, then you can cover it.
Even while you're eating? Or
no, but then you're not doing the mitzvah of eating the sukkah.
Right.
it has to be uncovered. Also, for the schach, you can put as much schach as you want. There's no problem. You don't really have to see the stars. You can put a lot, but it just has to be schach that grows from the ground that you put on top of the sukkah. And then just spend as much time in the sukkah. Every second, like we said, is going to be a mitzvah. Also now the mitzvah of lulav and itchog. So it's I don't know. So for Sfaradim, we have it's interesting. Moroccans, the woman actually makes a bracha on the lulav and the itchog. Sfaradim, like other Sfaradim except for the Moroccans, they don't do it because it's also a mitzvah that's bound with time. But Moroccans, we do like the Ashkenazim, like the Rama, that if it's a mitzvah that's bound to time, then the woman should also do it if she can do it, right? So also the other thing is it's very important to have your own lulav and itchog on the first day at least, because if you don't have it, you cannot do the mitzvah. If let's say you didn't have a chance to buy it, well, you should buy it now, tomorrow, or this. If now, worst case scenario, you don't have a chance, someone has to give it to you.
To gift it.
He has to gift it to you on condition that you return it to him. And then that's very important. You cannot just lend it to you, as it says, lachem. Lachem, so means that it has to belong to you, right? So on the first day, it has to belong to you. And also, one more thing I wanted to say is that, just to go back also with what we said about Shabbat, is that the lulav and the itchog, the mitzvah was on the first day only, right? And all the other days it's just it's a derabanan. It's not from the Torah, right? Because in the Beit Hamikdash we used to do it for 7 days, but outside was one day on Yom Tov, and all the rest we didn't do it. But now we do it from derabanan. It's a rabbinic ordination. But it says if not, let's say Sukkot falls on Shabbat,
you can't carry it.
So you don't. So some years, let's say last year, and technically you didn't have to buy lulav and itchog. Of course, we buy it. We don't do the mitzvah nice, but technically it didn't fall because on the second day you can borrow from your friend. So, but the first day was Shabbat, and on Shabbat the Chachamim they were so scared that someone will come and carry during Shabbat, and we know it's a horrible punishment. Someone who carries on Shabbat, so it's better that we don't do the mitzvah of the lulav and itchog because we're scared that there might be a possibility that someone will carry,
even if you have an eruv.
Yeah, even because we're going to say that there's no plug, that they didn't make a separation if there's a eruv or no. They said since they made the law, then we're not going to move away from this law. So just to summarize a little bit what we said today, we said that the mitzvah of Sukkah is we go out of our house from a permanent dwelling to a temporary dwelling. We understand that it's Hashem who runs the world, and the same way that He protects us in a house with alarms and locks, He's also going to protect us when we go inside the Sukkah. And even if the door is open, whatever it is, because Hashem is running the world. And I'll tell you a little story just about this, a quick story. Someone's Rav Avigdor Zatzad, he said he went to bed, he was very tired, he went to sleep like a baby. He woke up, he went outside, and he saw he left his key on the door. He said, well, imagine all night that there's all the gangsters outside in New York walking around, and he has his key by the door. He was sleeping like a baby. So he said, in reality, even if the key wasn't there, it's also a miracle every day, because we shouldn't be blinded by the fact that we have all those things that are protecting us supposedly. This is what's really doing it. We have to understand that it's Hashem that's protecting us. Hashem is guiding us. Hashem is giving us ashgacha pratit every day. He's giving us siyata dishmaya. Whenever you have He's helping us to get closer from Him, and this for those 7 days of Sukkah, this is what it reminds us of. The other thing also is that we have to remember when we're in the Sukkah, it's at Mitzrayim, Hashem took us out of Egypt, and that we were protected by the Ananei Kavod, right? By the clouds of glory, that Hashem was protecting us all throughout the 40 years, and also that we're living in Sukkot for 40 years in a desert, and it was the best time. It was great. It was a great time in the desert. So we see that it's not where you are, it's with who you are with, right? So B'ezrat Hashem on this, when I ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give us a very nice, meaningful holiday of Sukkot, so that we can celebrate and be happy with our families. It's also a very big mitzvah, and I want to say it's very important, is that there's a mitzvah for a man to make his wife happy during the holiday. And it says everyone has to be happy, but now it's so chazak, so I have to repeat it. Everyone has to be happy according to what makes him happy. So we said for the man, usually maybe it might be pizza here, but for the man it's wine and it's meat, wine and meat for the man. For the woman, nice clothes, jewelry, flowers, and for the kids, you bring them, sucre,
Mhm.
But why am I saying this? Because Hashem, it's also another thing. Hashem cares that we are happy. It's crazy. V'samachta b'chagecha v'ayita ach sameach. Meaning that you have an obligation to be happy. If you're sad during the Chag, you're fighting, you're doing a sin. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine. And also, one last thing is that we cannot think, oh, I can't control who I love. I can't control if I'm happy or not. But it's not true, because your emotions are things that if you have the right mindset and you work on your mind, then you're able to change the way that you think about certain things, right? Let's say someone with his parents. If he always thinks that the whole world needs to give him everything, so his parents, if they don't give me what I don't need them. But if he's going to be, wow, my parents, they put me in this world. They went and they sent me to school and took care of me. Let's say, I know he calculates, I know he's 20 years old. That means 7,000 days. You had a food every day. You had a place to live. You had clothes. You had a car. You had everything taken care of. You had 7,000 showers. Whoa. So everything. So when he sees like that, then of course he's gonna love his parents.
Mhm.
But now if he never thought about it, he never took some time to use his head. It's normal what they do to me. What I owe that they owe me everything. They put me in this world. It's their problem. They have to, I know some kids like that. It's my father. He's a rich. He has to give me everything. The credit card, the bump. So what I'm saying is that because if you put the right mindset and you think about the things, then it makes you love. And the same thing it says, you have to love Hashem with all your heart. How can I love Hashem? When you learn the Torah, when you see the chesed, all the beautiful things that He made in this world, all the great things He gave us a husband, wife. Why is it like that? We could be like monkeys. We don't have to get married. We jump on trees. We eat bananas. No. So there's other things in life that Hashem wants us to enjoy. So a very big mitzvah on Yom Tov is to be happy and make the people around us happy. Get tzedakah. So B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to pray. The soldiers should be good, should be strong, and B'ezrat Hashem, that they should fight and they should know that Hashem is with them. Right? Like it said that before every war, it said that Hashem is the one going to war for you and to save you. Right? And we're going to pray for the Chatufim that Hashem should come home safe and sound, and that B'ezrat Hashem, that Kadosh Baruch Hu should have pity on us, and He should have pity on all the widows and all the orphans and everyone that's suffering right now. And that we also have to remember that every mitzvah that we do personally, because the Jewish people is like one body, and if now there's a two that hurts, the whole body hurts. But if now there's one mitzvah, there's one good thing that's good, so then it's good for everybody. So we know that there's a mitzvah of arvut. So we have to think that really, whatever we do, we're able to go and really make a change. And the Rambam actually brings this as halacha. Rambam is the biggest authority in the world. The whole world goes by the Rambam. Right, after Moshe Rabbeinu, on his tombstone it's written, Moshe ad Moshe lo kam ki Moshe. On his tombstone, from Moshe until Moshe, there was no one like Moshe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Understand? From Moshe Rabbeinu till Moshe ben Maimon,
Yeah.
there was no one like Moshe. So the Rambam and the whole world, Ashkenaz, Sefarad, anybody you think of, Goyim, if you go look at the Goyim, they have his picture, I think in Washington, like he's everywhere. They have hospitals, the whole world, Maimonides. Maimonides, the whole world knows the Rambam. And Goyim, they respect him so much. Everyone respects him. He's the biggest authority in Jewish law. Everyone goes by him. He writes, a person should always see himself as 50-50. And when he does one avera, and the world is 50-50, and if he does one avera, he pushes the whole world on the kaf chova, on the side of guilt. And he can bring punishment for the whole world. But if he does one mitzvah, he pushes the whole world to the side of zechut, of merit. And he saves the whole world. The Rambam writes lalacha. He doesn't write, in stories, midrash. Lalacha lima'asi, he writes that this is really how we have to behave and how we have to look at things. So, B'ezrat Hashem, Chag Sameach.